Payne here, Roman Mosaic Workshops, and I want to share some photos that I took when I visited the island of Paros in Greece of the Hellenistic Mosaics there. Now, this is a very small area, just at the back of the Archaeological Museum there, and these are Hellenistic ones, so Greek rather than Greek at the time of the Greek Empire, dated between the sort of 4th to 3rd century BCE. Now, part of them thought to be an andron, which was the basically drinking room where the couches were set in some way, sort of like the Roman triclinium, but it was more to the Greek drinking sessions. And now, what you've got here is you've got the Pebble Mosaics, you've got the classic Greek Pebble Mosaics, then you have the cut stone, then you get the regular-sized cut tesserae that people most associate with mosaics. Let's just have a look now. Here you can see the central panel. Just to give you a bit of an idea, this is the site, so just wait for that to load, so you can see not a huge, it's pretty much the extent of it, and this is what we're looking at in the center there. So let's go back there, central lozenge shape, you've got your wave border, and then you have here is the what's termed as Opus Palladium, which is basically like small crazy paving. They're averaging the same size stones, but set in a very no real pattern at all. So, if you look up here, I believe it is it's either the section here or the left or the right. It was covered over when I was there for protection, but underneath is the Pebble Mosaic itself. So this is, unfortunately, it's not my actual photo of it. This is taken from the display board. Now, the mosaic that we've just been looking is over the top of this. So here you have your classic sort of Greek pebble mosaics. Now, it's not a design like in examples of Pella, just a very basic pattern. And you see up here, we've got that wave border again. And although they look like sort of pebbles, pebbles may be a bit of cut stone, but on the whole, you're tending to look at these, say, is a pebble mosaic. And now, if we take a closer look at the larger one here, so let's go back here, you can see now this is what's known as the Opus Palladium, this randomly cut stone here, and then as you go in, you've got the cut tesserae. So this is going into sort of 3rd century BCE. Thing to note here, just from the point of view of the making, you can just make out, as we look at it here, this white section is got horizontal lines. Now they go all the way up to there, and then they start on this vertical line from about there. Again, with a smaller area here, you can see as we look at it, horizontal lines, and they go all the way up to the red band. Then this section goes from there, and very hard to see, but this is what you'll tend to find, that it'll be the same with this. So what you don't get is, so if we look at this red pattern, this red band, you don't get the line of tesserae there, and then line turns a corner and goes along there. Then the other one is set, and then it turns a corner. Then the other one is set and turns a corner. The whole lot just goes straight up to the end, and then they set the others from the what becomes the side of that. Let's see if we can find the ones closer look at the wave border. Now, I've got no real hard proof of this, but to me, when I see a wave border that is as well done as this, to me, it just says Greek craftsman. Because this is a pattern, this is one of the most difficult border patterns to do, and you see it simplified so often where you've just got one line of tesserae in a spiral, but here these, or what I would always term as Greek ones, and obviously this is being Hellenistic, but this term that you have them well done, they're so neatly done that they are just very well completed patterns. Now, notice here as well, you've got a lot more of these, the rectangular shape tesserae there, which is slightly unusual. In the later period ones, you'd see more of all based around the square tesserae. Let's have a closer look at the Opus Palladium. You can see there a lot of large gaps in there. You see this from time to time. You see it in the Roman period where they've done this type, and it's using coloured marble as well. And that is a larger view of that. And just when that's loaded, there, no, it must still be a big picture. That you can see the effect of the large area there. Let's get a real close look. And this is, here you can see the thickness of the pieces of the Palladium there. Marble. Now, the thing that this says to me, I wish I'd been able to see what was underneath, is, was this all quite rough and then ground down, or was this sawn into tiles and then cut into these sort of random pieces? Now, if underneath it was as flat as that, then you could say that it would the actual marble was cut into slices, cut into these slabs, which would have been the thickness of these. But as I say, without being able to see underneath, we don't really know. Now, if you are going to come and visit, I mean, definitely worth it. If you're on Paros, just take the time. If you're around Greece, take the time. If you can get over there and see it, as I said, it's such a small site, but really important. You can see that, as I said, this is sort of the extent of it. Now, if you go to the Archaeological Museum in Paros, and it's behind there, so you've got to cross the main road. And if you were standing with your back to the museum, so the main road is sort of down off to the right here, I was standing with my back to the museum, and this is what you see. Say, this is the extent of it. You've got one display board there, and that's about it. But like I say, well worth a visit, because it's just such a so fantastic that we've got something like this that gives us that bridge over between the Greek and the Roman floor mosaics. So, bit of whistle-top tour. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you like this, then please, there's a button down below, and subscribe, and you will be told when there are more of these coming out. So, thanks very much.